deck list errors. We're going to talk about that today. Hey guys, this is Tom Box, and I'm going to preface this video by saying this is strictly my opinion, and I'm just going to be taking my interpretation of the policy, and it does not represent anyone else or any sort of entity. All right, and this is just me, just so I can, clarify that. All right, okay, let's get into the topic. So the issue at hand is the deck list, including Fire King Avatar Kirin and Fire King Avatar Garunix or High Avatar Garunix. Those are the cards you do not want to see in your deck list, unless you're purposely playing these cards in your Fire King Snake Eye deck, which 99.9% of people are not. You would have to basically deal with the issues, and people dealt with it in three different manners. One, they updated their deck list by removing their cards entirely because they can't get access to it, and that one's actually pretty fair. The vendors themselves actually did not carry these cards, and they didn't want to break. They did not want to break apart their structure deck just to pull two cards out there worth a couple of cents and destroy the value of the product. They didn't want to do that, so that's fine. And then the other one is that you have access to that Kirin, or the Garunix, and you have to put it into your deck. That one typically is because you registered a deck that had only 40 cards, and you have to fill those cards back in. If you couldn't, you have to put like side deck cards in because you don't have any way to get access to it. So that was the other way of kind of updating the deck list. And then the third way is the one that some people have chosen to do, which is to just continue playing with the incorrect cards that are not registered on their deck list. And I had my suspicion about this one for the reason why so many people rejected their feature match. When you register to get a feature match, that means you opted in to get a feature match, right? You opted in that you want to be on feature. So whenever we try to pick players to be on the spotlight, put them under the spotlight, we select them, and then they reject. Like, why would you want to reject when you're the ones that want to? Like, some of the players, like some of the top tier players, like the VIPs, I understand why they don't want to get featured from time to time. They have they have a very specific tech that they want to hide. Cool. But when a lot of the more general public, they go in and, it's their first time ever getting to be selected for feature, and then they reject it, it makes it a lot more suspicious. And the rejection rate was ridiculous. Luckily, in Top Cut, no one can reject feature matches. That's just a fact. And you just have to play through it. In which case, you got to see some of the people that had the wrong Kirins. You got to see the fact that, hey, some people actually don't even play Kirin at all. And why are they doing such weird lines in their combo? It's because they cut out certain cards out of their deck, or they're playing with a weirder copy of a certain card. Reading into the online policy, version 2.2, events offering online registration. Events with online registration may require deck lists to be submitted online using the online system. Check the FAQ or contact the TO for more questions. In the following circumstances, you may be able to resubmit a deck list for events offering online registration. 1. The FNL list updated after you submitted the deck list. 2. New cards were released after you submitted your deck list. That one's actually a bit more common, especially during regionals when they have the weekend with the new cards available. Some of the new cards might not be updated right away, and I've seen this time and time again, so this one's pretty common, pretty normal occurrence. You must still submit the deck list within the deadline specified for the event, and you may not submit a new deck list for any other reason. So you can't submit anything else, you may not drop from the event and re-register in an attempt to submit a new deck list. That's a loophole. Yeah, that loophole will put you right into the shadow realm of players that will be suspended because it is a disqualification. You get a UC cheating for actually doing that. I actually asked about this at the Championship 2020 T2. I was asking the head judge, hey, the system kind of made a little error where it registered a card that shouldn't be in my deck list. Anyways, long story short, don't drag and drop. Drag and dropping, it doesn't actually update the back end of the system, and if you drag and drop, you might actually have random cards appearing in your deck list, and you might not be wondering why. So just click the trash can button if you want to move a card, and then re-register, retype it out. That's my best advice to you if you're going to use the system. Aside from that, you can't do that, so you get a DQ. So looking into the other penalty document, the penalty document states, under the 2.2 version of the guideline here, it states that if a duelist registered a legal deck list, but the deck is illegal and does not match the deck list, the deck list takes priority over the deck contents. Okay, in this case, the deck should be fixed to match the deck list, which is fair. I mean, that's how it has always been. Everyone knows the rules. Now, it's the duelist's responsibility to find and obtain any cards to match the deck to the deck list before continuing play. And if a duelist does not have access to these cards, the duelist may add only enough cards to the deck to make the deck legal. In other words, if you're going to add cards from your side deck into your main deck, what you do here is why you do this is because your deck list is now 39. Your deck is illegal, so you're going to have to push cards from your side deck. If a duelist is not using a side deck and they have a 39 card deck, the tournament cannot continue with this duelist, so they should be dropped from the event. So if you don't have a side deck, you're stuck dropping the event. Pretty simple. All right. So this is the part that matters to most people that they probably did not like for the event. If a duelist registers the wrong card name in the deck list and the card written is an official TCG card, then the deck list is still legal and therefore the deck is illegal and should be fixed to match the deck list. Ouch. So if you got the wrong Kieran in there, you got to play with that wrong Kieran. And this goes to show if you guys have like a regional coming up or you're going to be going to YCS in Colombia, make sure you guys type in the correct deck list. All right. Now, if the duelist does not have access to the listed card or is unable to legally play the card in that portion of the deck, in other words, you have a extra deck monster in the main deck, then if the main deck total is still legal, you can fix the deck list just by striking those cards out. However, if the main deck total is now illegal, the duelist now must take a card from their side deck and move it to the main deck to make it legal. And if they don't have a side deck, now they have to be dropped from the event. All right. That seems like we're just still abiding by whatever we talked about earlier. If you guys want to read more about these cases, go ahead and check out Konami's Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG site. Check out the policy, check out the penalty guideline, and they'll tell you all the courses of action that incorrect deck list or deck error, how to like kind of deal with these particular situations. It's really useful for you judges out there because these are pretty common occurrences. Now let's take a look at the side deck site in terms of like deck list registration. In terms of like number 9 and how to create and register decks, just because your deck list is legal does not mean it's correct. You should look over the entire deck list, double check the count and content of the main deck, side deck, extra deck, and make sure you have not missed anything. Once you register with this deck list, unless the event allows for updating it, then it is locked in, cannot be changed, even if you edit again on this page. So you want to make sure that everything is correct, and if you're satisfied with everything, then you're ready to register for an event. That part is so crucial. They tell you time and time again to double check your content and counts, and what can I say? This is very crucial because you're not allowed to change it. And so the policy is pretty black and white, but I think there could be an opportunity in the future to kind of give us a little bit more grace in terms of the actual registration. I think on the Friday of the event, like the check-in day, that particular day, any deck list submitted that day will auto lock in. But any deck list submitted prior to that, they have the opportunity to change it. It does not lock it in. And so it's the pending list. So rather than be the submitted list, it is the pending list. So we can still work within the policy. And then the submitted list will automatically occur and take that pending list into submission once it hits a Friday. So you can still change it and catch these errors, especially with these card names being so similar. You can get someone to double check for you. And I think it also mitigates another thing. People that submit, like they register, but they don't submit their deck list because they're waiting for the last minute. But if they have something already pending, then they can kind of look at it and tweak at it, because if they don't hit the submit button, obviously it doesn't go into the list. But if they have it on pending, at least they'll have something to move into the list the day after. So, and maybe you'll have less of those, I'm missing a deck list issue, something along those lines. So those pending deck lists still need to be validated. Otherwise, you don't want to register in a legal deck list for whatnot. But I think in the user experience standpoint, I think there is an opportunity there to kind of be a bit more graceful. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying that this is just a point where you can make it a little bit more, I guess, a little more wiggle room for players, especially for people who submit their deck list in person. Like, it feels like they get way more time to submit their stuff than the people doing it online, and it seems like people are getting punished for submitting it online. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below. Well, that's all I have for this video. Let this be a lesson to be learned. Double check your deck list, triple check your deck list, or else you're not going to have a good time in your weekend. But also, do you think that there should be a grace period before the actual check-in date of the online registration so that your deck list can be a pending deck list versus an actual submitted deck list where they will auto-convert on the Friday? Let me know if that's like a better system for you, just so that you don't make that same mistake. Because I know some of you guys caught your mistakes really early on and you were just panicking, before the event. So something that you guys should be thinking about. And finally, do you know anyone that registered the wrong deck list but chose to play with the incorrect cards? What do you think should happen to those people? Are you going to rat them out? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm really tired. I'm losing my voice. That's all I got for this video, guys. Oh yeah, while I was behind the commentary desk, do you know what I had access to? Of course, you guys know I have access to deck lists, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the top techs from all these players of top 16. What do they do? What's the siding pattern? If you guys want to see that video, you guys got to hit the subscribe button, ding that notification bell, because that's the only way you're going to get access to these kinds of information from the inside. And until then, hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you all in the next one.